Hi everyone, so today's movie is the sequel to the first film I ever reviewed for Short and to the Point, which was Fast 6. Just a friendly heads up, the anniversary of my first movie review is coming up soon, and I may or may not do something special for it, so stay tuned. Anyway, The Fast and the Furious got its start back in 2001, with its highlights being the merging of car pornography with mild vehicular warfare. As we all know, the vehicular warfare is anything but mild now, and that makes these already fun films even more fun. But sadly, as we also all know, Paul Walker, who was the co-lead of the series, died in a car crash back in 2013. While his acting could sometimes be questionable in the series, he was still able to make his character, Brian O'Connor, into a likable person. He had a decent story arc, starting off as an officer of the law before letting his target, Dominic, played by Vin Diesel, go, and then having to face the legitimate consequences of breaking the law in the sequels. Brian and Dominic are free men now, but a new threat has emerged. A threat that neither men know, but they're about to. Welcome to Short and to the Point, where I review movies in 5 minutes or less, or your money back. Okay, so Furious 7 takes everything that was good about Fast 6 and multiplies it 100-fold, to mixed results. For example, this is some of the most over-the-top action in the entire series, and it might be hard to suspend our disbelief this time around when watching our heroes walk out of situations that most people would have died in. That being said, the action scenes are still fun and memorable, with plenty of energy put into them, and some good strategy from our heroes where the vehicular warfare is concerned. Something else that has been multiplied 100-fold is Fast 6's villain, Owen Shaw. The villain for this movie is his older brother, Deckard Shaw. Deckard, played by Jason Statham, is hunting down our heroes in retaliation for putting Owen in the hospital. Deckard is supposed to be worse than Owen, but he is actually a step down from his younger brother in terms of villainy. Okay, technically speaking, he actually is worse, as he weaves a path of death and destruction wherever he goes, and he already killed one of Dominic's friends, Hans, but he never feels part of the film, to be honest. You see, after Deckard begins his attack, our heroes are recruited by a covert ops team, led by Kurt Russell, to track down and rescue a hacker known as Ramsey, who can lead them to a program she created known as God's Eye. God's Eye can find any person on Earth, and with it in his possession, Dominic can find Shaw and kill him. The problem with this is that the men that are holding Ramsey are not affiliated with Shaw, and the plot concerning finding God's Eye takes quite a bit of the film's runtime, and that throws off its pacing as a result. The film tries to salvage things by having Deckard springing surprise attacks on our heroes during their search, but the execution of his rivals is just off. He keeps just abruptly showing up out of nowhere, almost as if the writers forgot that he's the big bad or something like that. Deckard also doesn't really share any meaningful dialogue with our heroes, and in general just lacks a personality overall. Now don't get me wrong, Jason Statham does what he does best, which is kicking all kinds of butt while looking awesome doing it, but the theme of this movie is supposed to be it's personal, and Deckard's lack of characterization lessens that theme. Nevertheless, though, I did think the film had a decently emotional story, as we see Brian trying to adjust to having a normal life, and Dominic trying to rekindle his relationship with the still amnesic Letty. The acting from Vin Diesel and company isn't anything stellar, but it was good enough that the emotion won't be lost. There was a pretty good moment of acting, however, from Michelle Rodriguez when she tries to get Dominic to understand that she isn't the same Letty that he once knew. As for Brian, he was still a likable character. I thought that Fast 6 was the emotional peak of his character, but it turns out that there was still a little bit left to explore, and the film does a decent job executing that story, I think. As for some of the other cast members, we also have Tyrese Gibson, who plays Roman, and he's been exaggerated a little as well. While Roman has always been a motor mouth, in this film he never seems to know when to shut up. Though to be fair, his heart is in the right place, and every now and then he does have a funny line. As for Tej, played by Ludacris, his reactions to Roman's antics also generate some laughs. Dwayne Johnson has unfortunately been demoted to extra, but he makes every second of his screen time count. Something else that I liked about this film were some of the callbacks in it, such as one that's basically a remake of a scene from the first movie. So overall, Furious 7 is a flawed but still enjoyable movie. Because of narrative issues, it felt like we were watching just another sequel as opposed to the deeper story it wanted to be, but things mostly came together in the end, and I did think it did a pretty decent job paying respects to Paul Walker. The action could have been toned down a little as it took me out of the movie sometimes, but in the end, I'm giving Furious 7 7 cool cars out of a possible 10, and I do recommend it for theatrical viewing. This has been short and to the point, and I review movies in 5 minutes or less, or your money back. Okay, before I sign off, I just want you all to know that next week I will be reviewing everything in the second phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the exception of Captain America 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy because I already reviewed those films, in preparation for the release of The Avengers Age of Ultron, which comes out on May 1st. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go take my car for a spin, because I have to say something car-related to end this review. I will see you all next time. Bye.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you